rotate your phone.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Kari's Kitchen. I'm Kari Oringer. I'm the winemaker for Cornerstone Cellars, and I'm here with my husband Jeff.
Hi there.
Jeff, how are you?
Good.
Well, we have another episode coming up, and I have to say that the weather kind of dictated what we're doing here today. It's beautiful.
80 degrees.
Sunny, 80 degrees. And we've had the grill on this week.
Yep, it's starting to be grilling season. We've been doing these shows for a little over a year now, so it's come back all the way around, and it's warm enough to start grilling outside, so we decided to do that. And we made some of the easiest meals we could possibly make this week, and this is one of them. And it's just great to be back where we started.
It is. On one of the episodes, I think it was on Instagram Live, we did a reverse wine pairing.
That's correct.
Wine and food pairing. So often we find that we have a meal and then we go, look and see what wines we have, or we go out and we buy a wine that matches the meal itself. So really what we did today is we knew that the Cornerstone Cellars Wine Club wines are being released this in a couple of days. So early next week, Wine Club members are going to start receiving their wines. So we decided we would certainly taste those wines today and then figure out what would pair with them.
What are those wines, Kari?
Well, Jeff, I think I can tell you. The two Wine Club wines, the first one is the 2018 Fiddlestix Vineyard Pinot Noir from Santa Rita Hills down in Santa Barbara. And the second Wine Club wine is the 2017 Oakville Station Red Wine, which is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot, all from the Oakville Station Vineyard. And then the other wine that we threw in, because why not, is our 2018 Sauvignon Blanc from the Farina Vineyard.
Because it's 80 degrees and it's nice to have something refreshing.
It does. It
And
seems
it might
like
go with one of the dishes.
Exactly. So you really put some really interesting things up on the grill. So we also, not just sausages, we also have done some vegetables.
Yes, we have the classic sausage and peppers. It reminds me of growing up on the East Coast, and my Italian friends would have me over and they would have a grill full of sausages and peppers and sometimes onions, but sausage and peppers, salsicce and peppers. It was just like a great Sunday afternoon meal. And so we decided to have that. We actually had it the last couple of weeks. We've had it twice, and we just did it because we wanted something simple and easy and quick. It was a Monday night and we were busy or whatever it was. And we sat down and enjoyed them so much. And we said, for something so simple, this is just ultimately satisfying. So we said, let's give the folks out there something simple and satisfying for summer.
Yep. So here's the recipe. Buy some sausages that you like and put them on the grill.
That's it.
And cook them, and that is it.
Start a fire, put them on the grill, cut up some peppers, sprinkle them with some olive oil. For this, I sprinkled it with some umami powder, if you have some, or garlic powder and mushroom powder together, or whatever you want to do. And then we used some of the great spices that we get from Winemaker's Pantry.
Winemaker's Pantry.
We used the Cabernet because we're doing a Cabernet, and we also used the Pinot Noir. So we matched the spices to the wines this time a little bit. So we have a lovely herb pepper medley and 7 different sausages, just because we can't help ourselves. We just like a lot of
Why
them.
do one?
Exactly.
Why do one? So
And I like spicier peppers or sausages, and Kari kind of likes milder sausages. So we have a plate of mild and a plate of spice. And they happen to be in front of me for the spice and in front of you for the mild.
I can't wait to try them. So let's dig in. So I'm going to start with the Sauvignon Blanc. And what I like to do when I'm doing a little trial here is take a few sips of the wine, get your palate acclimated.
Sure.
Go back, go in to taste the food, then come back to the wine again.
That's a good excuse to lubricate your palate.
I think it is.
Mostly it's just a good idea.
So cheers.
Bye.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Another thing I have to mention is we've been doing this for a little over a year, and oddly enough, the first few episodes we did, the charcuterie episode and a few others, we did from this end of the kitchen. And then we moved down to the working end of the kitchen with the stove. So after a year or so of anniversary, we're back to where we began.
This is back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done some outside at the grill, and I think we should go back out and do that again. Now that the weather's warm again.
We did one by the smoker. We've done them all over the place.
We did them all over the place. Well, we haven't done them in the bathroom yet, but we probably should.
No.
Okay,
Not
so
where you cook.
I took a sip of the Sauvignon Blanc, and what I love about this Sauvignon Blanc, it's from this great vineyard in Sonoma Mountain, It's the Sonoma Mountain AVA, not at high elevation, this vineyard in particular, but has very well-drained soils. It's nice and warm there. And the temperatures don't shift quite a bit. You already found something delicious.
You know what I'm starting with? I'm starting with peppers. And we made 3 different peppers. We made an orange, a yellow, and a red bell pepper. We're not fans of the green for certain reasons.
Just because.
And so we really like the red, the orange, and the yellow. And we did a medley of different colors today. And I thought, hey, if we're going to have Sauvignon Blanc, let's start with some vegetables and then work our way into the meat.
All right, well, I am going to do that then.
Why not?
Why not? So I did take a sip. So what I get without having paired it with the food, there's nice, bright, crisp acidity, but there's a lusciousness to it.
And is this the Farina Vineyard?
This is the Farina Vineyard 2018.
Okay. You've already told us all about this. I wasn't paying attention. I was eating.
I only talked about it just a little bit. The other thing that I love to share about this wine and why I think it's really interesting is I ferment in small vessels, small, 60-gallon oak barrels, neutral, a little bit of acacia wood, a little bit of stainless steel barrels, and then a concrete egg. And the concrete egg, we've now used it for 5 vintages. And it continually brings a sense of minerality, but also some body to the wine. Mm-hmm. So in taking a sip of the wine, it's there's a lushness to it and a richness to it. Not like a wine that's been on oak, but that it's just got some creaminess in the middle.
What's nice about that is even with one varietal, with just Sauvignon Blanc, you have 4 different flavor profiles that you get to blend and use your winemaker magic on. Mm-hmm. I really liked it with the peppers. I mean, it's just a nice springtime dish, just grilled peppers and vegetables, light, refreshing, somewhat healthy, a little bit of olive oil. It's got to be good for you.
Is there a little salt on them as well?
There is a little bit of salt and pepper as well.
Because, for me, the salt and the spice, the winemaker's pantry spice, right? On the peppers, it brings out even more fruitiness in the
it popped the fruit. It really did. It made it less acidic and less citrusy and more just beautiful, ripe fruit.
Yeah. So that actually is a beautiful pair.
I like it a lot.
And what I love about these winemaker's pantry spices is they are custom blended. We have them for Sauvignon Blanc. They're made to be paired with wine. So we've got 2 other wines. We've got the Pinot Noir that we're going to taste today, the 2018 Pinot Noir.
Our favorite.
And you can see our winemaker's pantry spice. It is actually almost empty.
Yeah, the Pinot Noir is our favorite.
It's almost empty.
We use it a lot.
Yeah, so we do use it a lot. So and you did use this on the peppers.
I used it both the Cabernet spice and the Pinot Noir spice on the peppers. I did not use the Sauvignon Blanc spice, even though we had it, because the focus today was going to be on the 2 red Wine Club wines.
The Wine Club wines. So.
But we could be all geeky and do the yellow pepper and then the orange pepper and then the red pepper, which we often do at dinner. We'll taste them and say which one you like best. But let's skip all that. Let's get to the meat.
Let's get, because I am excited about this. So
we do call her Kari the carnivore for a reason.
There's no question. There's no question, and I would never deny that.
Yeah.
So there's what we've got is my heritage in Wisconsin, an homage to that. My family that still lives in Wisconsin. Hello, family. Bratwurst.
Bratwurst.
Simple bratwurst. The market down the street makes them. I don't know if it's a Wisconsin bratwurst, but what I do know is you don't need to go through all the steps that we would normally go through as cooking it in beer.
People steam them or boil them in beer, and then they put them in the broiler or something crazy.
Yeah.
We just put them on the grill for 5 minutes. The thinner ones are down here.
Okay, and they're mild. I mean, they're down on this end because they're mild. Bratwurst
is the mildest sausage we did today. And we have a little bit of stone ground mustard. We actually are kind of crazy geeky. We always love to compare flavors. We have 7 different mustards that we use sometimes. And we have everything from the French mustard, which is really lovely. And, it's the Dijon mustard. And we have, any number of different mustards. We have one from California that has a little bit of beer in it and a little bit of spice.
Sierra Nevada.
A bunch of great, wonderful mustards. So we basically put out a tasting menu every time we have a meal.
We do. And also sort of a little tip of the hat to Wisconsin. Wisconsin actually is the home of the Mustard Museum.
I had no idea.
There's a Mustard Museum. And it's just to the east of Madison, and I've actually been to it.
Well, good for you.
I know. I have moved on to the Pinot Noir. This is the 2018 Cornerstone Cellars Pinot Noir. This is
Forever.
from the this is from the Fiddlestix Vineyard in Santa Rita Hills, down in Santa Barbara. And so, for me, Santa Rita Hills is really the hot spot, or the cool spot, technically, for Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm.
There's this chalky soil. There's an elevation. It's a stone's throw from the ocean. There's a marine influence. The acidity stays bright, but that chalky, well-drained soil, those grapes work really hard. The vines work really hard to get those grapes ripe.
And there's a depth to the fruit down there that's amazing to me. I really like it. And all of these sausages are pork-based. And our favorite saying when we're trying to remember what wine goes with what food is pork and Pinot. It's the two P's, and there's nothing better than pig and Pinot Noir.
So what I'm doing now is there's a second bratwurst here, and this bratwurst has been smoked, and it's got some onion and some garlic in it.
Yeah.
So come on over, and I have a feeling it's going to go with the Pinot Noir.
Let's see.
Let's see.
I tried the regular bratwurst with the Pinot, and it was lovely. But, you know, we're having sausage, which makes me happy, and we're having Pinot Noir, which always makes me happy, so gotta make it work.
You definitely can get the smokiness,
Oh yeah,
but it isn't overpowering.
that's another level of flavor.
Wow, that is a multi-level of flavor. It's got the garlic and the onion in it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't taste oniony.
We like garlic and onion.
It doesn't, it doesn't taste oniony. It doesn't taste garlicky necessarily, but it does. It's like umami. It's that it just enhances all the flavors that are already in there.
Lovely.
Doesn't, I mean, that's, I get that it's still a brat, but you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'm going to go back to Sauvignon Blanc.
Go right ahead. Boy, you are an adventurer. You're a pioneer.
I'm brave. Oh, and that is delicious. And the reason I was also thinking that is there's a little bit of salt in there. And that salt with the acidity, it really, I think it really complements the wine very much. Okay. Now, the next one we have here.
You know me, I'm willing to follow you anywhere.
I know, I love that.
Particularly though, I prefer the Pinot Noir. I'm going to have one more bite of this same smoked brat, and I'm going to try it with the red, the heavy red.
And that wine, that is the 2017 Oakville Station red wine. And it's, we call it a red wine because the varietal percentages change every vintage. It's always from the Oakville Station. The University of California, Davis owns that vineyard, the North and the South Station, and they're growing Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc and Merlot for us in that vineyard. And so each vintage, this has some percentage of each. The 2017 that is now going to be released and available to our wine club members has got about a third, and a third of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. But it does change every vintage. So we just call it a red wine. There's no restriction on what we can do with that wine. Really, my job is just to make the best wine that I can, and that's wide open. Like it's an open palette.
Well, to me, this is a Goldilocks situation where with that same smoked bratwurst with the onion and garlic, I thought it was nice and crisp with the Sauvignon Blanc. It was lean and it didn't necessarily enhance it. And in the heavy red, you know, the Cabernet Franc and Merlot blend was a little too powerful for it, whereas the middle run, the Pinot Noir, just seemed to go perfect.
Really complemented it really well.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I went in for the mild Italian.
I'm going in as well.
The mild Italian's got herbs. Obviously, that would be Italian herbs, maybe a little oregano, a couple of things like that. So it's still a very mild sausage, as it says in the title, mild Italian. But we also have a hot Italian. So I'm actually going to go from the mild Italian to the hot Italian, just to
do
jump
the
over.
A-B situation.
Just to jump over.
What did you have with the mild Italian, honey?
I went first with the Pinot Noir, and it was a lovely pair. But I was sort of expecting that. But then I did go to the 2017 Oakville Station red wine, and I like that. That wine, the wine itself has nice lushness to it. It's you can tell it's got the backbone of Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's got the fruit, the luscious core from the Merlot, but the Cabernet Franc has this, it's almost a feminine kind of feel, but there's a tiny little bit of floral that I get from that. Occasionally I get a little bit of licorice, not the fake kind, like the real kind, you know, the real
Got it.
licorice.
Like true anise.
Yeah, yes, the true anise, yeah. And I actually, again, with the spice and the flavoring that's in that mild Italian sausage, went, I thought, very well with the red blend.
Yes, it does. But when in doubt, if you don't know, go with a lighter red. If you're dealing with two different reds and one's lighter, boy, go with the lighter one if you're just not sure.
So I just took a little bite of the hot Italian,
Which one I'm heading
which
next?
should have really the same herbs and spices that the mild does. It's just got some little peppers in it.
It's got chili pepper flakes.
A little
Yep.
bit. So the wine I grabbed was the Sauvignon Blanc.
Not a bad choice. I think that's
I don't
smart. Because of the fruit characteristic. Anytime, has some spice to it.
Yeah, it does. I'm trying to man up, honestly. I'm trying
Anytime you're doing spice, though, you need fruit or sugar or both. And the fruitiest wine of these three is most likely the Sauvignon Blanc, perhaps the Pinot Noir. Let's try it.
I'm willing to go for the Pinot Noir now. I liked the Sauvignon Blanc with that little bit of spice, and we've known that as well when we're having Thai food, if we're out having something that's a little bit spicier.
Sure.
And you'll always order the spicier dish than I will, and I always get to try it, but I'm always happy with the dish that I've chosen for the most part. But it's nice to be able to try the hot or spicier dishes, not necessarily hot, but spicier dishes with the lighter, fruitier wines.
But with the spice, you want to be careful not to get too high in alcohol. If you get spice and you go to an alcohol that's 14.5 or 15.4 or something crazy high, or a 16% Zinfandel, you're only going to accentuate that heat, and so you're basically dumping gasoline on a fire, and you don't want to do that.
No. Right. Now I'm doing the hot Italian and the Pinot.
Boy,
The 2018 Pinot Noir, Santa Rita Hills.
now you have spice, you've got fruit, and you've got richness. That is like the best of all worlds. I'm following you once again, huh?
Okay, and I'm not going to tell you then what I think.
There's
I'm
some
gonna let
salt.
you taste it. There is salt in there, and it is a little more spice than I would like. But I would say, honestly, all my friends from Texas, they would taste that and go, "Oh, you guys, you're such wimps." Because
And what's happening?
That's barely spiced.
It's your second bite is building up your spice. It's irritating your tongue more. It's just building it up. It's spice buildup.
It's kind of like a tannic wine, a wine that's got a lot of tannin in it. Maybe you don't notice the first sip or two, but it starts to gain, and you're like, wow, that's really. And it depends on the food you've paired it with, but you start to get that tannin buildup as well.
Tannin buildup, exactly. And normally your dentist can take care of that. That's tartar buildup.
I actually do not want to talk about the dentist this week.
No.
I had a dentist experience this week that I actually do not want to.
We both went to the dentist this week on Tuesday.
We did.
Very coupley thing to do.
Oh, super coupley. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is
Now I want to hear what you like better between the Sauvignon Blanc and the Pinot Noir for the spicy Italian.
for me the Sauvignon Blanc for sure.
I agree with you. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's
I
shocking.
love Pinot Noir, and I thought that might be like the best of both worlds, as I said, but lo and behold, it's the fruit of the Sauvignon Blanc that really tames the spice in that Italian.
I wouldn't not drink it if it was at our dinner table and
No.
it's fine. I think that Sauvignon Blanc just plays beautiful music. Like there's this harmony that happens with that little bit of spice and that little bit of fruit.
Right, and when you have the luxury to compare two things that are similar but different, it's always fun to go, oh, I like that one better.
So what I did do is I skipped over one of these. So here's what I did. I went right from the mild Italian to the hot Italian, but I skipped over. There's a
My
tomato. Well, let's talk about this. Say what this is.
This is tomato, basil, and there's another
Garlic.
Garlic, yeah. Tomato, basil, and garlic sausage that our friends at the Browns Valley Market make. And this tomato, basil, garlic sausage is complex, but it's flavorful as all get out. And it's it's still mild.
Yeah, it's not hot.
But it's full of flavor, and it's just my very favorite of the mild sausages.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
I honestly, I actually don't remember having this lately. This is delightful.
Oh, because I always eat it all.
That explains a little bit, for sure. All right, so what I did is I started with the 2017 Oakville Station red wine.
Why not?
Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. Well,
I'm going to start with this.
I know that this is a rich, lush wine. Like, this is a wine that, and man, it is just ready to be released. Like, I'm so excited the wine club members are going to get this now. I've been tasting it along the way since we bottled it, right? A couple years ago, year and a half ago. And it's just beautiful and coming into its own right now. So it's the perfect timing. For your wine club members, you're getting your shipments next week. I know you're going to want to tear into that box and start tasting those. Just let them rest for a minute. Not because the wine's not ready, but because they just went through travel. They just went through, and God knows, right now, the way shipping is going right now and the struggles we're having with it, just let it settle down.
Just like us as traveling as humans. You know, we're not our best when we land.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I mean, we might be functioning, but we're not going to be at our peak.
Yeah. So anyway, let them rest. I know you're gonna want to tear into them, but that 2017, that is showing beautifully. And the Pinot, you know, honestly, I've been tasting that Pinot for a little bit. We've released it to some of the critics, and we've gotten some great scores on it. So I've been tasting it along the way as we've been sending it out for review. And the 2017, that's just now starting to go out. So I've been tasting that Pinot a little bit more, and that is just lush and ready, and there's that fruit forward note, but there's that complexity.
Well, it keeps getting better. A few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, when we first tasted this, we thought that's very good, but it's still a little tight. And now, you know, a little bit of age, and it's really opening up, and it's doing very well. I have to say one thing. Let me just double check. Yeah, I was trying to prognosticate how the tomato, basil, garlic sausage would be with the Sauvignon Blanc. And I thought, okay, we have basil, you know, an herb. You have tomato. Yeah, and you have tomato, which is a sweet vegetable, or some people would classify it as a fruit.
So it's a fruit.
And then you have garlic, and I thought, well, that might be good with the Sauvignon Blanc. And I have to say that I was completely wrong. I guessed incorrectly.
Wait, what did you say?
I was completely wrong.
Oh my God, thank God.
Let me write that down for you. I, Jeff Prather, was completely wrong.
Okay, it's recorded.
And it was not the best pairing. It basically was too much acid, and, you know, like they say in Texas, all hat, no cattle.
All hat, no cattle.
So I found that interesting. Now I'm anxious to see what goes with this basil thing, because it's my favorite sausage.
It could, nothing. And, you know, blasphemy, beer, that would be great with the Sierra Nevada mustard that they make, and open one of their pale ales with that. That may not be.
Yeah, but the tomato basil didn't go with the Sauvignon Blanc, but I wouldn't say it's not going to go with any of these 3 wines. I
kind of like the tomato basil with the Sauv Blanc.
And that's why we make different flavors.
Right. I actually thought it went pretty well.
Maybe it was the spice lingering in my mouth.
Maybe, because from the spicier sausages. No, I thought the Sauvignon Blanc was a pretty nice foil for the basil.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Not for me. It
I'm willing to try it again.
It somehow brings out the bitterness of the garlic and the green character of the basil.
Okay.
And maybe I'm getting too picky, but I just don't
really care for that. That's actually why we're doing this. Yeah. And no two people taste the same. So, you know, last week for Kari's Kitchen, I was with Sean Robinson, our hospitality manager.
Instead of me, I was very jealous.
You were dumped, honestly, for tall, handsome Sean, who was taken, by the way. I'm like, not an option, but it was fun tasting through the flights that we were doing that we pair with the Anotre food flight with the wines in the tasting room, and that was fun. And the same thing, like Sean and I, we don't necessarily agree exactly, but that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, except that I caught my wife tasting with somebody else.
Well, you were in the room, which actually makes it a little more weird, but still.
I was trying to make it a little spicy.
You were in the room. All right, so tomato basil, Pinot.
Man, I that's just me. I'm a middle of the road guy, Goldilocks. So I love that combo.
As fruity and round and really seductive that Pinot is, that tomato basil garlic sausage bumps it up. I admit you were right that it's better than the Sauvignon Blanc.
Wow, I admitted I was wrong earlier, and now she admits I'm right. This is a banner day.
I know, we should actually mark this date down.
Thank God it's being recorded. We can take it to court.
We can. So now tomato.
Your Honor, I have proof. She
That's
said
right.
I was right.
He actually is right most of the time. The tomato basil with the red blend, with the Cab Franc Merlot coming from the Oakville Station. Have you tried that?
I tasted the lingering aspects of the sausage with it. I don't have high hopes.
All right.
To me, here's what happens. I don't taste the sausage anymore. The wine takes over, and it brings out the least charming parts of the wine, which was the bitter tannin.
Oh, because that's interesting, because this wine, the tannins are actually very low, and they're very soft and supple. So this is a food, so this is a food pairing that actually doesn't make the wine better.
No, this is an anti-pairing.
An anti-pairing. Don't do it. Don't do it. But on the other hand, there might be people who will enjoy that.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying that you should never taste those two together.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong if you like that combination. I'm just saying
that's what happens.
Personally, I think that's not a good combination.
That's not a good combination.
But there's some people love high acidity. I'm a huge acid fan. You know me.
In whites.
I always joke that I was, brought up in the 70s, so I'm an acid freak. But but I love high acid wines. I don't particularly love high tannins. And when tannins are brought out, I generally shrink back. But there are people that live for tannin. I mean, there are people that drink young Cabernet for that very reason. I'm not one of them.
They might be the people who enjoy chocolate and Cabernet.
Boy, don't get me started on that.
But I did. See how I just did that? Do you see how I actually just poked you a little bit?
I know, it's like that's sugar and tannin and sugar.
But doesn't chocolate and Cabernet, doesn't it bring up some of that
it ruins
backbone,
both of them.
No, shush. Shush. Not everybody thinks that. We have actually a lot of people that come in to taste, and we do a pairing that we do with chocolate. And
no offense, if you love that,
people love it.
Please.
Actually, there's no wrong answer.
Eat as much as you can, because that way I don't have to eat any more, because I hate that combination. I think it's the fallacy, the myth of the wine business. Wine and chocolate, I love it. It's like, great, good. Well, not for me.
Some people do. And yet,
not that I'm touchy.
When we have guests, we actually put chocolate out on the table towards the end of the evening. So it's
not with Cabernet left over, not with a good conscience. Well, okay, so we're hypocrites. What the heck?
No, we let other people enjoy it.
Yes.
And we don't actually make faces or anything.
Because
people enjoy that.
If I'm going to have a piece of chocolate, I just stop drinking, unless it's port.
Right.
Then we never open.
But my point is, everybody tastes different, and people have their own preferences.
I know. But you taste delicious.
And thank you very much. So there's a couple more sausages down here, which I'm not eager to jump into, but we're going to do them.
We're jumping into the fire.
We are. We have an andouille sausage, and we've got the chorizo. So
spicy, spicier.
And I do like them. We've had many chorizo lately that I've loved, but not with wine. So I would love to see if those two spicy go with anything that we have open here.
But a couple of weeks ago we made a chorizo chicken dish that was delicious with the red wine.
Yeah, we did it on Kari's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And it went and we had the 2017 Cornerstone Oakville Station red wine open, because we were just, we've been trying the wines because we're being ready to release them.
We had to bump up the size of the wine.
Yeah.
And it went beautifully.
It went beautifully.
See, the andouille is not that spicy. I think the hot Italians even spicier.
Because I have andouille sometimes in paella. They put it in paella, and they put it in some other dishes. And every now and then, not that we've traveled in the last year, because we haven't, but we travel, and there's a lot of countries that make an andouille style sausage.
Yes.
You don't have to go to New Orleans.
Someday soon.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even going to try this with the Pinot, because it's too spicy for that delicate fruit.
But you know what about that one in particular?
Yeah.
There is some heat, not a lot. There's and for me that's a great thing, because sausage has some fat. There's a percentage of fat in that. That is a mouth coating. There's a little bit of fat in there, but it's clean. And it's got this beautiful spice, and while that's a little hotter than I would normally like, if that was in like soup,
Yeah.
or in a stew, or in
Yeah.
paella.
Yeah.
I would love that. Oh, a lobster boil.
Ooh. Well, yeah, and a crab boil, the
'Cause
whole thing,
lobster-
and crawfish boil.
Because lobster.
Andouille sausage.
Right.
You know, to me, that tastes more like pork than the other sausages. To me, because of the
Oh,
fat, it has this porky character.
It has a porky character.
I'm going to try it, even though the spice is not good for it. I'm going to try it
Go.
with the Pinot.
Oh wait, you know what? Your glass
Nearly
looks
empty.
sadly empty.
Well, that's because I sucked down Pinot because I think it's going to save my life.
Well, and we do like the Santa Rita Hills. So Santa Rita Hills,
that's good wine.
2018.
I love Santa Rita Hills.
Yeah, Cornerstone Cellars. So this is a great vineyard. This is the Fiddlestix Vineyard. Our friend, and you've known her longer than I have, but Kathy Joseph down in
Yeah.
Santa Rita Hills. She's owned and farmed that land herself for the last 26 years. She's across the road from Sanford Benedict, and mostly Pinot Noir, Dijon clones. That's what we purchased from her. We've been now for 4 or 5 vintages purchasing from her. And it's about 50% of the Dijon clone 667 and 50% 777.
Right,
So
you got to
there's-
choose your rows.
Oh yeah, I have my own
Because
rows.
she has a bunch of different clones, and she said these are available. We went, I'll take the 667 and the 777.
Yep. I told her exactly what we needed.
Those
She's
are
got
good.
115.
That's a good
Yep.
combination. Not to get geeky, but
Yeah.
those two clones are really good together.
For us. The 667 brings an earthiness and a complexity, and the 777 gives us like, woo, it's a party fruit. You know, like so you
777 is just that.
Yeah.
It's a party.
I know. And it ripens a little bit faster.
Yep.
So, you know, it's it just gets in party mode a little bit quicker. And we bring it up, we pick it in the middle of the night, and then the truck usually leaves the vineyard about 4 or 5 a.m. and we get it up into Napa. I don't know, in a refrigerated truck. It usually shows up around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Cold. And we put it right through. We destem most of it, about 25% of it, not destemmed. We do whole cluster fermentation on it. Set that aside, and it's just like the Lucy and Ethel show that you've imagined. I put some boots on. I'm not barefoot. Put some boots on and get in and stomp around on it. You want to break up the clusters a little bit, but it's fermented on the cluster.
I don't want to say this twice in one show, but I was wrong. The Pinot Noir and the Andouille.
What? Wait, no, say it again.
Again, I was wrong.
Okay.
The Andouille is too spicy, too strong, and overwhelmed the charming fruit of the Pinot Noir. I tasted the Pinot, then I had the sausage, then I tasted the Pinot again, and the Pinot disappeared. Then I tasted the red blend, and suddenly there was wine in the world again. So that was a good combination. Pinot Noir, not so happy.
Okay, because I was talking enough that there was some time had
And
passed.
I didn't mean to tell you what you were going to take.
No, that was great. The time had passed since I had tasted the andouille sausage, and then I tasted the Pinot, and I went, well, that's delightful, right?
Yeah.
And then now I'm going to do this. Taste it again. A small bite, not too much. I usually take too much, but not this time. That is a good. I'm sorry. That is a great sausage.
The Andouille is lovely. It's very good.
In this particular, the people who make this at our market, this has a little bit higher fat content because there's a percentage. Like when we're buying hamburger for the grill, about 80-20, 80 meat, 20% fat. This has got a little bit higher fat content, I think, than some of these other sausages. And you can tell by cutting into them.
Yeah.
There's a moisture.
And it tastes like pig. I mean, it comes from Louisiana, so it's got to have a little fat.
Yeah, oh, it has to. Fat is one of my favorite things. But the scientific part of this is you cooked all of these sausages exactly the same way.
On the same grill at the same time,
same
all at
same
300
temperature.
degrees, boom, 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 5 minutes aside, ding dong.
So the only difference is the sausage itself.
Exactly. No, they were all pulled off the grill within 5 seconds of each other.
Yeah. I believe you are correct, sir.
I hate it.
I know that the red wine blend, the 2017 red wine blend.
The red wine blend's
Oakville
a
Station
winner with the Andouille.
with the andouille. Yeah.
I am going to commit wine suicide here by having the chorizo, which is very fiery.
All right.
And
Have you
I'm
tasted
gonna-
it yet?
Just now.
Okay. Can I eat that?
Yes.
I can do it.
Don't
I'm
eat a
gonna man up and eat that stuff.
Just eat a small bit.
All right.
You've been having half slices.
Oh, I've been taking small
I would
bites.
have a quarter slice.
All right. Because there's some.
And this
Chorizo,
is not
we enjoy it.
unbearable. This is not like hot pepper chili stuff, but it's hot.
Oh, it's not that hot.
No, it's hot, but it's not that hot. You're right.
Oh no. It gains.
It gains, exactly. It's a sneaky thing. We call it Sneaky Pete.
You know, I appreciate the other night when we did this, that you actually took that one.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm always willing to take one for the team.
You know what I'm doing? I'm going Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Try that. I'm going to try the Pinot. I don't think this is going to work.
Oh, I'm not going to say a word. You decide.
I'm not going to try the Sauvignon Blanc and the chorizo.
Okay.
What's it like?
I liked it.
Now I have to taste it.
I liked it. I liked it. It accentuates the lush fruitiness of the Sauvignon Blanc.
Do you want to try
You know what I love?
the chorizo and the
Summer's
Pinot?
coming.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be drinking this by the bottle. Like, you know.
We're going to open bottles of Sauvignon Blanc.
We opened one last night and it disappeared like that. But we were sitting outside. It was lovely.
We had charcuterie outside, and we had the chicken and pine nuts and tarragon dish that we made a couple of weeks ago for Kari's Kitchen, or Fun with Flavors.
Fun Flavors.
And it was so good with the Sauvignon Blanc, and it was 80 degrees for the first time, and you're like, oh, this is lovely.
And Benny was here.
Yeah,
Benny and her husband own Cornerstone Winery. Hi, Benny. She's actually traveling right now. But it was fun tasting the wines out on the treehouse.
I think she's landed by now. She's somewhere
Yeah,
in
she should be.
Memphis,
She should be in
Tennessee.
Memphis. She should be in Memphis by now. So, wow. Okay, so this was interesting. So we could go on and do
That's
this
good.
for
It's
hours.
actually better than with the Pinot Noir. Try it with the Pinot Noir, the chorizo.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try the chorizo with the red blend, and then we're done.
And then we should wrap it up.
And we should let these
so
people get on with their
get on,
lives.
and you know what they should do?
Go outside.
Go outside, put some sausage on the grill, and open up what you want.
That is if the weather's nice where you are. But boy, if you're anywhere
Most
near us,
places it is.
woo-wee.
Just talked to my mom in Wisconsin. The weather's been incredible.
Yeah.
So, you like this with the Pinot the best. All right.
No,
No?
I didn't.
The chorizo?
No.
You liked it with the red wine.
I just now had it with the red wine. I think it's best with the red wine. I thought it was better with the Sauvignon Blanc than with the Pinot.
I do too. I told you I like the Sauvignon
I
Blanc.
know, and I followed you, and
I like the
agreed
Sauvignon
with
Blanc a
you.
lot.
I will follow your path. But what do you think with the chorizo with the red wine?
It was the best pair.
That's what I thought. Big and big. Because this is not overly alcoholic, so it didn't catch my mouth on fire.
Correct.
I wasn't
And it's
throwing
not overly
gasoline
tannic.
on the fire.
The
yeah.
tannins are supple. There's a little backbone there, like that wine can be aged, but it doesn't need age. It's like ready to go. That's like, I know it's tempting to open that box when the wine club get their distribution because they get this first.
Let it rest.
No, just give it a little bit of time. That's all.
Well, the chorizo's lovely. I love the andouille. But in general, it was just fun having a bunch of sausages. And we've made 2 meals out of this in the last 8 days. And now we're going to have this for our meal tonight. So 3 meals in 9 days. Every 3 days we're going to have this. But I'll tell you, it's a great summer dish.
Easy.
It's easy as could be. It's so satisfying. And it's very good with a variety of wines. So what's wrong with this?
You know, you could actually keep them in your freezer, and if friends show up, because you know we're opening up again.
Yeah, especially in the summer.
Friends over,
Woo.
like that, and you go, how many people? And you can just pull them out and throw them on the grill, and they don't take any time on the grill.
No.
I honestly, 2 nights ago we did this. I couldn't believe that we hadn't been doing this more often. Why don't we not doing this? This is delicious.
And that's when we came up with the idea of doing it for Kari's Kitchen. We said, this is great. Let's do it for Kari's Kitchen. And I said, okay, fine.
And you know, honestly, every market does it. We found these at Safeway and Lucky's and Nob Hill and
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, our little, neighborhood market. But it's so easy.
Even if you don't have a butcher shop, you go to the packaged meat section of your grocery store, and there are different packaged sausages.
Yeah.
So you get a variety, 2 or 3. 2 or 3 is the perfect number, and you get a few different flavors of sausages, and you've got yourself a palette of delightful deliciousness.
Throw some vegetables, the colored peppers, all 3 peppers, beautiful. Onions, you've done onions.
Yeah, and
put
you've got a grill, you've got heat, you've got sausage, you've got vegetables, and you've got wine.
I like
It's
2 things.
everything you like.
What you just said. Beautiful wine pairings and not a lot of dishes.
No, exactly.
Anyway, so Honey, thank you. This was better. A super fun episode.
My pleasure. Enjoyed
I'm
every
not sure
minute
when
of
I'll see you again.
I think the rest of the evening.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back doing a Kari's Kitchen next Thursday. And honestly, I'm not sure if we're on Instagram or if we're on Facebook. We'll post it.
Next week is Facebook Live.
It's a Facebook Live. Okay. Do you know what we're doing?
I do not.
No, we have a guest.
We do not.
Okay.
No, it's Facebook Live, so we can't have
Oh,
a
it's
guest.
Facebook.
Yeah.
We
And
might. We're working on that.
Right,
We're working on that.
But we might surprise you very shortly with Facebook Live. We're going to be able to Zoom.
We can Zoom.
And we can Zoom more than one guest like we can on Instagram.
Yes.
We can only have one guest.
So we have some guests
Soon,
that are coming.
we'll be doing